This is The Discourse with Dr. Ken.
Great. So this is The Discourse with Dr. Ken. My guest today, in fact, before I introduce my special guest, let me reinforce and emphasize what topic we have today. Because when we promoted throughout the week, a lot of people, there were a lot of feedback. I said, now, it couldn't have been a better time to introduce the challenges of mental health. So today, we're going to discuss the challenges of mental health. And my CPM told me, listen, is it mental health you're going to discuss? There is no better person than Dr. Memuna Yusuf Kadri. So we had to search the whole of the globe, and then luckily she was in Nigeria, and then so we had to ferry her in, and she graciously accepted to be our guest today. So today my guest is Dr. Memuna Yusuf Kadri. Madam, how are you today?
I'm fine. Hello, everyone.
Fantastic. So, our discourse today will be the challenges of mental health. It's a topic that is of interest to millions and millions of people. And then those who don't quite understand how important mental health is and the impact it has on society, we are going to find out in the next 15 minutes or thereabout. I normally, as a tradition, would take the profile of my guest. It was difficult for me to summarize your profile because it was quite elaborate, and everything there. It was difficult to set aside anything, but I tried, and it challenged my ability to do summary, like they taught us in secondary school. So I'll try my best. Let me introduce Dr. Memuna Yusuf Kadri. She is a multiple award-winning mental health physician, advocate, and coach. She's a medical director and psychiatrist in chief at Pinnacle Medical Services, Nigeria's leading and foremost psychology and mental health center. Dr. Kadri is a dynamic consultant, neuropsychiatrist, and fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria with almost 20 years as practicing physician. A foremost forerunner in the practice of mental health and other novel therapy techniques in Nigeria, Dr. Kadri is the most sought-after psychiatrist and psychotherapist in Nigeria and beyond. A Goldman Sachs scholar, Vital Voices Fellow, Tony Elumelu Foundation alumna, Dr. Kadri is a global thought leader and has been recognized for her movement in the field of health and wellness, especially mental health. Dr. Kadri is a multiple award-winning practitioner and a fellow of multiple institutes. She is a trailblazer and innovator. She is married with 3 children. But, Dr. Kadri, why do they call you Dr. May? Because once I introduced your name formally, all the messages that came in and say, wow, welcome, Dr. May. How did that come about?
So, thank you very much, Dr. Ken. I like the fact that you specifically asked that question. So, yes, Dr. Memuna Yusuf Kadri, that's what everybody got to know. But COVID came. Okay. And our practice had less than 5% of children and adolescents. With COVID, it skyrocketed to 25%.
Whoa.
And children, we are talking about Gen Zs and Alpha generation people. And they always like, not easy way out, but smooth, something that will resonate with them, something that will make them feel funky. So when they come around, they don't call Dr. Kadri or Dr. Memuna. Okay. Dr. May.
That's how it came over.
Yeah, so when they tell their parents, I want to go and see my therapist, Dr. May. And initially I was taken aback, but I kind of like embraced it and then branded it. So
a brand image that of that.
Exactly. So if you say I was the one that was the originator, no. My Gen Zers, the Alpha generation, they just found it easy to Dr. May is easy to pronounce. Okay. Then I now okay, if you want Dr. Memuna Yusuf Kadri, Dr. May, January, February, March, April, May. And so yes, so that's why I said. So it's now my brand name and I've embraced it in totality.
Yeah. And I'm happy you are living the brand because we'll talk a bit about May, and in the brand context and Bible, I'll tell you before the program ends what May actually means. And it's quite positive.
That's great.
So you can reach us on WhatsApp number 09092172973. I take that again, 09092172973. I'm very sure it's going to be very interactive today. Normally I get a lot of messages, but I take the ones that I can take. So you forgive me if I don't catch. And of course, Twitter at Classic FM 973. I take that again, Twitter at Classic FM 973. Now, Dr. May Kadri, especially for the young female listening out there. Because when they see people like you, I mean, for them, it's quite good. It's aspirational. It makes them feel good. They know that they can break the glass ceiling. Yeah. So you're a doctor, medical doctor and physician before you became a psychiatrist and then later studied psychology.
Yes.
So can you take us through that? So you read medicine first?
Yes. So for you to be a psychiatrist in the world, because I won't just limit it to only Nigeria, you must go to school to read medicine and surgery. Okay. And in Nigeria, that means you will have attended to science courses in your senior secondary school level. That is SS1 to 3, or right now they call it year 10, 11, 12. You know, we just have to flow with the new things. Yes. And then you have to have your 5 credit maths, English, physics, chemistry, biology, at least those 5 credit, and then you come into med school. So graduated after 6 years. Okay. In my time, I didn't graduate after 6 years. A lot of ASU strikes, so let me just take it like 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so there was nothing like private university with medical school. Yeah, so and then you must do your housemanship, and it's a continuation of your med school. So 1 year housemanship where you rotate through all the different major departments, medicine, surgery, OBGYN, pediatrics. Then after then you must serve, because most times you are less than 30 years of age. So you will serve. That's another year. So I'm counting like 10 years now, right? Med school 8 years, doing 1 year housemanship, 1 year NYC. Then I said, okay, I don't just want to be a medical officer. I want to be a specialist. Yes. Then I went for another 6 years to be a psychiatrist. That's 14 years.
8 years and 6 years
yes.
Again. Whoa.
To be a psychiatrist, you need like 14 to 16 years. So it's not like a walk in the park. And that doing that subspecialty, you need minimum of 3 exams, primaries, the other one, then before you become a consultant, before you can say you want to do all that. And so yes, so that is, and then masters in clinical psychology, and then masters in digital healthcare.
Wow, this is good. Listeners, I wish you were in the studio, so you see how lively Dr. May Kadiri is, and so that you know that medicine is not as boring as we think
it's
it
not,
is.
Please.
This woman has effervescence, even though she has
have fun while studying.
Yes, broad cerebral bandwidth, like I would say. So, what I do is. This program, by the way, is making me a small Socrates because it forces me to go and read up every aspect of the subject that I'm about to take on as far as the discourse is concerned. So whether it is tech, whether it is science, whether it is medicine, the creative, the business, leadership, transformation, and so on. But today, I was forced to read up a bit so that I don't sound ignorant, good. So, and I found out that there's this psychological mental health, emotional mental health, and social mental health, isn't it?
Yes.
So can you take me through all that? And take your time, because people like to know, the psychological mental health, emotional mental health, and then social mental health.
So the good thing is that is for us to even talk about what mental health is.
Yeah, what is it?
And even break it down. At least we are like 4 or 5 in the studio right now. If anybody walks in here and said, "Do you have mental health?" Some people were like,
"Excuse me,
please, that kind of a thing." But the truth is that we all have mental health. All of us here, we all have mental health. What we do not all have is mental illness.
Okay.
So you see the difference?
Yes.
So when next you hear, "Do you have mental health?" with your shoulders raised upright, you say, "Yeah, I've got mental health." Because mental health is intrinsically intertwined with our physical health that we all talk about and neglect the mental health. So when you hear the word mental, wait for the next word.
Okay.
Is it health or illness? If it's health, yes, you have mental health. But if it's illness, you may not have. And studies shows that 1 out of every 4 individuals will have a mental illness in their lifetime. Will have means that probability you may have.
That's high probability. 1 out of every 4.
1 out of every 4.
Will have mental health at some point.
Yeah, we are 5 years now. 1 we have.
Wow.
Not because you are a bad person, not because it's village people, not because it's spiritual attack.
Whether it's your portion or not, it has nothing to do with that. Yes.
Because we are humans. You may lose somebody. You may run into financial issues. You may be served breakfast, or relationship issues, right?
Yes.
So there are so many things that could make you to break down. It could be genetic. Maybe your dad, your mom, somebody, great-grandfather, So that's it. And WHO says that mental health is not the absence of a mental illness.
Okay.
That's where the the whole bulk of, is it psychological mental, is it emotional mental, is it social mental health?
Okay.
And mental health, we want to break it down. I always want to break it down in 4 ways, in 4 relatable ways, so that we can understand the full definition. Because when I break it down like that, is you will now understand why I say we all have mental health. As defined by the World Health Organization, it states that the ability for an individual to, number 1, realize your potentials in life. 2, ability to deal with the day-to-day stressors of life. 3, the ability to work productively and fruitfully. 4, the ability to give back to the society or give back to the community. Such a beautiful definition. It did not say you must have the ability. You must deal with day-to-day stress. It say the ability. Meaning, if you do not have the ability, can you find? Is it a skill you can acquire? Can you, ask for support? Can you, help get speak out for somebody to help you? So that is what mental health is. And of course, when we now say psychological, social, emotional, is a spectrum. It's a continuum, rather, not a spectrum. It's a continuum, because there's a mild, there's a moderate, there's a severe. Somebody can be walking in this studio, Classic FM, now the life of the party, always looking good with lipstick, or the guy looking all sharp, and everything.
And together.
And then the following morning, you just hear something bad, that something has happened to him or her, and they're like, no, it's not possible. Because the fact that person is lively and everything does not mean that person is not dealing with his own or whatever. And it's not because the person doesn't want to share. The person wants a safe space where they can share. So psychological mental is talking about the psychology, the mind. Because we have the mind, the body, and the soul. The emotion is talking about our feelings. How do you feel? Do you feel sad? If I say I feel depressed, does not mean that I'm depressed. It's a depression. Depression is an emotion. Clinical depression is a diagnosis.
Just a bit of falling temperature.
Exactly.
Quote unquote.
I like the falling temperature. I'm going to hold on to that. And the social part is the fact that we're talking about support, environment, family. And if you want to even make a diagnosis worldwide, we always look at 3 tripod. Bio, psycho, social. Biological. What made you prone to having this mental illness? Is it because you came from a family where there was divorce? Is it because you came from a family where there was death of one or both parents? Is it that you had a family where there was you are genetically prone? Or were you sexually abused? So that's a biological that you were not in control.
Polygamy, for example.
Exactly. Because it's true, not everybody has it.
Can deal with it,
polygamy, yes. So those are biological things that most times you are never in control of. Then the psychological aspect of it that comes with it. A lot of times you find out that as adult, triggers are the things that that push us to the other side. Some people are already sitting on the fence. They just need something to just push them. And that is why when you are dealing with a lot of issues, the one statement that most people use is, I'm stressed. They don't really know how they feel or how they are doing. I'm stressed. 90% of the reason why you see a doctor is you feel stressed. And I can break it down to why you feel STRESS. The first STRESS. I said Nigerians need to go for at least twice a year mental health check.
Examination,
You need just
evaluation,
your dentist.
Just like as part of the general check.
Yes, don't go and just say I want to do blood tests, I want to do check malaria. Check for anxiety, depression, and drug abuse issues.
You are right, Dr. Memuna Kadri, because since all of us have mental health.
Exactly.
So what we may not have is mental disease. So that medical check would decide whether it's a disease you are gravitating towards.
You are a good student. I'm going to give you a certificate after.
I'll frame that.
So the first S is self. Sometimes it's not, nobody is doing, you are the one doing yourself. Everybody is doing well except
it's self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. You go online, you see everybody posting picture of 2019 before COVID, and you say they are doing well. Maybe they are just the person may be at home just suffering and smiling, and then you just think everything. No,
you don't have contentment.
Yes, you are not. You are seeking validation. You are not fulfilled. So the first S is self.
I get that, especially with a lot of Nigerian big men. They have status anxiety.
The second DT is trauma. A lot of us are dealing with unresolved trauma. In fact, all of us are traumatized in one way or the other. But unresolved traumas, you have to know that you are dealing with it and resolve, because if you don't, you beat on people that didn't hurt you, because hurt people hurt people. And the
hot people. Okay.
So they don't know how to feel. They don't know how to express themselves. What you don't have, you can't give. And you are hurting. And the next scapegoat is very easy to. So you'll be wondering why this person is behaving the way he or she is behaving. The R is relationship. Relationship issues have made people have many mental illnesses that you'll be wondering what is happening. And women are big on this table.
Okay.
8 out of 10 women, when I was doing my residency in psychiatric hospital Yaba, relationship issues.
Wow.
So it's a study that you have to go far. And you find out that because we are very emotional, though they say your studies are telling us that men are equally as emotional, right?
Yes.
But again, the way societal pressure on us and the way the stereotypes and the patriarchy system and everything that comes with it. So relationship issues. Then the E is economic and financial. I don't know about you, Dr. But that one,
yes.
all of us, I think we are looking for admin for that.
Now, excuse my language, but everybody is in that basket
economic
now because
and financial,
the shit has hit the fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second S is sickness. It may not be you. If you are dealing with old parents that are ill, the whole family is ill. If you are dealing with child with special needs, the whole family is also in that cocoon. And so sickness can easily stress you out. Then the last S is school and work. We have toxic workplaces. We have toxic bosses. We have toxic school can just put so much pressure on you. So anytime you feel stressed, try to narrow it down. Is it the S? Is it the T? Is it the R? Is it the E? Is it the second S? Is it the last S?
All right.
Just narrow it down.
It's easy to put them in such a basket, And I'm happy you've elucidated that very much because I have questions around education, career, job, marriages, childbearing, divorce, fallout, Japa and Japada, harsh economic impact and role of social media. So we're going to talk on all that. So, but what we've established is that, listen, as far as you are living, you have mental health. What you may not have is mental disease. So let's clarify that because once people hear mental health, what comes to mind is lunacy. So it's not lunacy.
Yaba left.
Yes.
Yaba ekbosi. Wacky people, deluded people, people on the street. In fact, let me tell you, you see those people on the street? We call them vagrant psychotic people.
Which people are you talking about?
The people that people just assume that Nollywood has branded mental illness that you have to be on the street, tear your clothes, go to the dustbin and pick trash. No. There are just 1% of people that have mental illness. One.
There are many others who are.
99% is us in this room.
Whoa.
It's called package madness.
Package. So you are mad, but you just package it.
Many are mad, but few are
giving
roaming.
it out in doses because I see this on Nigeria. I see Dr. Memun, I see this on Lagos Street. The way people drive. The way they react when they drive, when you get to traffic light and it's not working. You see a doctor there, you see a lawyer, you see a senior advocate, you see an economist, professor, all behaving as if.
In fact, there was a day I was going to my house. Yeah. I was trafficated to enter my house. Somebody was trying to overtake me in front of my house. I said, oh God, I've reached my house. Yes. Let me just go to my house.
He says no. You can't.
I don't, so there's just that.
So we should look out for that. So that's mental health, but gravitating towards disease, isn't it?
Those are signs we should. So we have telltale signs. We have red flags. Yes. There are some things that people are doing that like, hello, don't you think you should go and check? We as much as possible, we do not also want to stigmatize people because stigma and discrimination is one of the biggest challenges when we come to mental health. Okay. Because of stigma attached to people with living with mental illnesses and mental health in general, people do not seek for help.
Is it an African thing or is it global?
It's global, but it's more in Africa because of it's taboo. Let's not say anything.
They say it runs in the family.
Nobody will marry anybody here. No, let's just keep quiet and all that. So that is perpetuating help-seeking behavior. That is not allowing people to speak up and speak out. That is not encouraging help-seeking behavior, and that just makes it even access to resources, which is highly limited. Dr. Ken, we have one psychiatrist to 1 million Nigerians.
One psychiatrist?
Yes.
To 1 million?
Yes.
Hold it there. You can reach us on 090-921-72973. I take that again, 090-921-72973. So you can see the predicament. You've just painted it clearly. And that takes me to, in fact, let me see, 5% of federal government Nigerian budget is put aside for health. Just 5%. So you could see that a lot of people who do this budget, so what's their category? Is it mental health or mental disease?
they all have mental health.
Yes.
But the way they are doing the budget, we don't know where they are. Because Abuja Declaration of 2001 stated that we should budget 15% to health.
Okay.
Dr. Kemp, the truth is that even if they do 50% in this current economy,
it's
nonsense.
Yeah.
It's totally
grossly inadequate.
Grossly. And this, we have never gotten even up to 10%. And when the day comes to mental, it may just be 0.001%. It's never enough.
Yes. No wonder we are not productive, because if you don't have a relative number of people
that are productive, that will grow the GDP, that
health, how can you be productive? How can you apply yourself to it? Now, I know you've touched on it, but let's take it one by one. I've just listed here education, academic situation, and challenges. This is one area that puts a lot of pressure on young people, especially.
Exactly.
Can you please touch on it a bit?
So when it comes to education, right?
Even the curriculum we pursue, how we deliver the education.
Let's not even go to
content,
that curriculum. I think we need a total overhaul.
Yeah.
Overhaul because what they are teaching us versus what we are. When we come out to look, the reality is there's a disconnect. That's why you see people. Somebody will finish medical school and go and become a makeup artist.
Wow.
No, I'm not saying makeup artists are not good, but
that's not what you're trying to. I mean, can you imagine you invest 8 years?
Yes.
And you might as well have started that after secondary school.
I mean, YouTube can even teach you.
No.
So now, no fulfillment, you know. And you see lawyers that have graduated, gone to law school, they are doing DJing.
Yeah, real estate agent.
Do you understand that you don't even need like special training for? You just not have good people in your circle where you do one house, 4 billion, then you get your 10%. Get what I mean?
Yeah.
But of course, education.
So that we're not misunderstood. If you want to do estate management, you need training.
Training for it. This one, estate agent is different.
Yes,
it's different. Yes. So education put a lot of pressure on young person. This is where it gets interesting. Half of all mental illnesses, 50%, start before the age of 14.
Yeah.
And 75%, which is 2/3, before the age of 24. So you see that child thinking, oh, my child can't be depressed. I get a lot of that. People, in fact, parents will come to my office to take my side so that I would, when they eventually bring their child, I will help them tell the child that I say, Auntie, your child is depressed. Let's sit down and have this discussion. So imagine half of all mental illnesses started before the age of 40. That means anxiety, depression, and everything. And then you expect that this child will just sail through school. I know some children struggle. So education is a pressure point. And I hear parents, oh, I paid your school fees. You go on vacation every year. You have a roof over your head. You have a bed. Do you know how many children are out of school? Nigeria has the highest number of children out of school, blah, 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 and all that. It's not about that. It's about your child. As we are in this unit, our brains are different. Even Taika and Hassan Hussein, their brains are also different. So education is a pressure point. It's hard to make it easy, seamless. We have visual learners, we have audio learners, we have kinesthetic learners. But most of our educational sector, they lump everybody. Imagine a tall child that is a visual learner. They go and put the child at the back. A visual learner should be in the front seat. So that child will be at the back. It's not straining. Not that the person has bad eyesight, but because the child is tall, they say, go and sit down. You are too tall. Go and sit down at the back. And the child will not start struggling. Or audio learners are supposed to be in the middle seat. The child, so that arrangement, there are some certain things that the school should do when bringing in children. Then the education curriculum, children that are young, they like things that are hands-on. Most times it's just read, cram, this. So that pressure point, then home. Because whatever school is doing, when you come home, is supposed to make sure things are. So for young ones,
you need to balance.
We need to balance things. Education, so that is a pressure point for us. And when they are dealing with that, a lot of times, let's not forget peer pressure. One person can just say, oh, I think you are not doing well. I see you are struggling. Take this yellow pill. And then that yellow pill may just so help the person at that point. Before you know it's happening, it keeps going back or she keeps going back. Before you know it's happening, the child becomes addicted. Addiction is never an event, it's a process. It takes time before people get. So that's why we need to reorganize our education system.
Before we go to the next pressure point, there are a couple of questions here, and somebody's just asking Mr. Nelson. He says, do you see a connect between the mental health of leadership and the success of an organization or government? If yes, would you recommend annual mental certification for our leaders?
Association of Psychiatrists of Nigeria, where I belong, in fact, we have a WhatsApp group, and I have a lot of elders there. Shout out to all my seniors and elders in the profession. That has been a huge discourse amongst them, before I even came into being a psychiatrist. Like, should they be encouraged? Should we push for that? But the thing is that it will further stigmatize stigmatize people because when you look at the American system, some of the presidents in America, they had mental illness even while they were presidents.
Yes.
Bipolar affective disorders, depression and all that. So the thing is that having a mental illness does not make you unproductive. It's you not managing it well, or you not realizing you are in denial,
or not taking your pills.
Exactly. So it's just like there are other non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cancer. So why do we sympathize with those people with those hypertension, diabetes, and cancer, and stigmatize people with mental illness? The S word, S letter. You sympathize with this, you stigmatize. So they are all. If you say you have hypertension, I say, have you seen your cardiologist? Did you take a medication? If I can't say depression.
Or mental health. You say,
I beg God. So that is just it. So if we say we want to push for that, we have quackery. The system is still not properly regulated. We have people that are practicing mental illness in some small places that we cannot even take. So who will do the examination? Who will do the certification? People will be coming up with some letters that will not make sense. So I think that is the reason why they have taken that stand, not to push for that.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll go to another pressure point, which is career job pressure. And this is around conversations around promotion, dismissal, lot of interest in the job.
So toxic. So people, there's a statement that people leave their job not because of the job, but because of their bosses.
Okay.
Their managers or supervisors or whatever. So work environment can negatively impact on your mental health significantly, because your productive life, either you are working for somebody or you are working for yourself. Entrepreneurs, in fact, there's a psychological price of being an entrepreneur. It's a lonely journey out there. Oh, I don't want to do a 9 to 5. Try entrepreneurship. You will not only do 9 to 5, you will do 28 hours. That because you are your own boss, you are making sure things are happening. You will make sure you pay salaries at the end of the day. In Nigeria, we are our own local government. You have to get your light, get your water,
tax agents.
So this ban. I went to check my ban. I'm supposed to be having 60 to 20 hours. Dr. K, I don't have light. I told my phone we are bandless. So as an entrepreneur, it's huge. So work environment significantly impact on our mental health, and because that is our productive life time, so you may not have had any of those childhood predisposing factors. Maybe somebody in the family has had mental illness, coming from a home where there was divorce, but because of the current pressure, you can be induced. Yes.
Fantastic. So again, like I said, listeners, you can reach us on 09092172973. There's another pressure point, Dr. Memuna Kadri. In fact, Dr. May.
Yes.
That's what
Join
I call
the
you
Gen
going
Zs
forward.
and Alpha generation.
Yes. So that pressure point is marriages and childbearing.
So, luckily we are two women here.
Okay.
Right? Two of us can experience things differently. Me being a married woman, I am even more prone to having depression than a single woman.
You mean, really?
Yes.
So
if you are a woman out there listening, watching right now, and you are married, these are 4 cardinal points you must stick in right now. And if you have 2 out of these 4, please go for evaluation. Not me, but you have done your own evaluation. The first is death of one or both of your parents before the age of 8, meaning your parents dying when you were young. So somebody is going to nurture you. The second one is when you are not working, you're just working within your home environment. So all these Instagrammers DM me, DM the price or whatever, and you are not working, you're not
going out and
you're not
coming
going out, you're just seeing only purple, green, cream, white walls. No, it's not good. So you're just within your home environment. The third one is
candidate.
The third one is if you have 3 children or more that are below the age of 14.
Wow.
So because I'm a psychiatrist, I never travel alone with my children.
Okay.
You also say, I'll buy you ticket, you and the children travel to London. You are just going to parent your children in another environment, and it's a big risk. Go to Heathrow and see women with children. They'll be running up and down. They'll be crying. So just know that you are not doing yourself a favor by just going. You are going to travel with you and your children. So 14 years, 3 children and more, 14 years below is a risk factor. The third one, this is where the men in the room now and the men listening to us now, this is where you play a significant role.
Okay.
Why is that? As a married woman, if your partner or your spouse is not your friend, you're on a long thing.
It's a predicament.
So I have one.
So make him your friend.
So It's not about the man. It's about you. Now you know that you are at risk.
The onus is on you.
Yes, you are at risk to protect your sanity.
So you make him your friend.
Yes.
Find a way to make him like the things he likes.
And get it to like the things you like.
Yes.
No, it's very, very important because if you have 2 out of these 4, you are already at risk. And please go for evaluation right now.
And we're balancing.
And we're balancing. Because truly, like me, I have 1. I have 3 children. Though I have the 2 are above 14. But 1 is the last one, not the last born syndrome. It's more than 10 children. So I have 4 parents are still alive. I'm working. The second one that can easily think me is that if my husband is not my friend, Dr. Ken is not only my friend, it's my best friend, it's my best, it's my lover, it's everything. We quarrel, we must resolve it before 11:59 p.m.
Fantastic, Dr. May. The next pressure point I put together and I said I must ask you today is divorce and fallouts.
Divorce and
fallouts from it.
And becoming so common these days. So common that our Gen Zers that I see a lot, and they say they don't want to marry.
That sector has been deregulated.
No, in fact, I've 2 things now I'm picking.
Yes.
Deregulated. Yes. They're like, Mom, I don't want to marry. But there's no fun out there. Everybody is just beating each other and killing each other. Why? What is the big thing? Oh, well, I can do surrogacy. I can adopt. In fact, I'll go to Southern or France and just live with my dog. Hello, hey, you must marry. We are Nigerians. What is wrong with you? Children don't even, because we are giving them all the wrong vibes. That's a potential candidate
who is thinking that way already.
Yeah, they are giving them all the wrong vibes that you 20 years in marriage and you are saying you want to divorce. But the truth is that now you see, when I say when your spouse is not your friend, at the age of 18, when your children are leaving the home, most times we become empty nesters.
Empty nesters.
Yes, the children are leaving. So if your partner is not your friend, that is where the vacuum comes in. Because now that you quarrel, do you want to eat? Let us go to Orbit and do and play. Let's go to ShopRite and go. You use the children to fill up. Now the children have left the home. Nobody. So you now see 30 years of marriage. There's divorce.
There's vacuum. And hollowness, isn't it?
Yes. And so divorce is now becoming a big issue. And children that come from a home where there's divorce, they're already at risk. I talked about it earlier. They're already at risk. So just imagine now they are now working and then they're in a toxic work environment. Boom.
Wow.
They either get depressed, they're anxious or something.
Because they were sitting on a cliff anyway.
Exactly.
There's a tip,
So when you think of divorce as a couple, don't just think about yourself. If you have children in that home, think about those children. You're already giving them a risk factor automatically that they didn't buy. Because if they say those children should choose whether to come to your home or go to Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett or Ali Kondago, they will not come to your home now. But now they're in your home, now you have given them a risk factor. So find ways, but of course I won't support home where they are beating, they are abuse or whatever. If there are ways that are amicable that you can resolve it. But if not, find ways. And if you are eventually separate, make sure you give your children role models that they will look up, not the one that you are trying to be the father and mother. No, look for role models so that they will say, okay, this is a person, a man that they look that they are emulating. This is a woman that they are emulating. Because at the end of the day, it becomes chaotic for the children to start deciding what it is, what is not, and don't instigate them against. If you are the woman that feels bitter, don't instigate them. If you are the man that feels bitter about it, because the truth is that when there's divorce in a home, you find that women are the natural nurturers, bearers, and rearers. We have the estrogen. That is a nurturing hormone. If a woman is unhappy with the man, you see them nurturing the children with anger, bitterness, resentment, everything, sadness. And these children will go to the outer school where they will now meet children that are bullied. Say, no, is this how you could do here? The children say, no, where I'm coming from, this is how it happens. So you see, there's a disconnect. Abnormal
becomes normal, isn't it? In such circumstances. Yeah. So again, let's talk about this pain point, and it's very prevalent these days.
Yeah.
In fact, before I go to this one, let me tell you a bit of a story. And I've told a couple of my friends that in the 70s there was this very renowned psychiatrist in Enugu. So he was so renowned. If cases go really bad, people will have to go to him. So. He was very straightforward. So when those days, don't forget, in the 70s, Shagari was president of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So what he will normally ask his patient is, sit down, say, the first question he will ask is, does this make you, the way you are feeling, do you feel like killing somebody? And in Igbo language, you say, "Oh, nemegi bo madu." Do you feel like killing somebody? That's the first question. You say, if you say yes, he will astericate. Then the next question is, does it make you feel like you are shagari? Once you say yes, you say what for? He doesn't waste time. He takes that patient, he says candidate
what for?
Yeah, so
I love that.
I'm seeing a lot of candidates on Lagos Street for what for.
So delusions are when you and there are different type of delusions. It can be paranoid delusion when you have this bizarre belief that something is there. This white is not white, is black, and all that. Grandiose delusion is when you now think you are now
you have exaggerated opinion of yourself,
and then you are now President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. You are, you just take up that grandiose role, and even when they are telling you that you are not, you are holding. No. So delusions are beliefs that people hold against their education, cultural, and religious background.
Okay.
So even if you know that you are not, you are holding on to that. So yes, people can be, and we have to shed those delusions. So that is where expert comes in. I give you a typical example. I hear the voice of God, and then you bring a pastor. So we've had a pastor we admitted, and his followers, church member said it doesn't have issues. But the wife said, it's me that stay with this man. This man has issues. They said, but he said he's hearing the voice of God. That's auditory hallucination, right? So how do I now separate that auditory hallucination from the true voice of God? There are techniques that we had to apply. At the end of the day, it was auditory hallucination. He wasn't hearing the voice of God. And when it got better, he appreciated the fact that the wife insisted that he should go. So you go to the pulpit and be talking and say, I hear you, you're going to have this car, Those were those wrong manifestations. He had auditory hallucination. The wife knew that aside from that, there were other behaviors he was exhibiting that were not aligning to the man she had married. And so she was insisting that he must go for psychiatric evaluation. We admitted him almost a month, and then when he got better, say, which voice? That was not voice of God. Hey, devil is a lie. So he understood. So there's a way, there are techniques we use to know this is the real thing versus this is the abnormal.
Okay, before I go to the next flash point, which is Jakwa and Jakbada. There's a message here from Madam Adele. She's saying, Dr. Ken, again, I have told whoever cares that a woman lives longer if she lives apart from her husband, especially in Nigeria.
Apart? Well,
that a woman lives apart, that just take it again.
Okay, yes.
He said, Dr. Ken, again, I have told whoever cares that a woman lives longer if she lives apart from her husband, especially in Nigeria.
I have a diverse view. I'm not saying she's wrong, because what is marriage really is a companionship. Children are benefits of marriage. It's not like you are going to marriage, you must have children. And that is why I keep telling people that not everybody will marry, not everybody will have children.
So
all these pressure points we are having on people, you must marry before 30, you must have children before. They are pressure points, they are making people even get depressed. So it's not about, do you know when you are in a good marriage, what you be using your 100% brain for, you are using maybe 20-30 because somebody is there to complement you. It is not competition, it is complementary.
And when it's the other way around,
exactly, it becomes a problem.
You have low capacity utilization.
That is it. So it's companionship. Marriages are good. It's not that we need to bring out people that are in good marriages to talk about how marriages are. Bad news sell down, and the media will take it up, and even without even saying it, media will blast it. But people that are in good marriage, maybe they are protecting, I don't blame them, protecting their own thing and say, before I go and share now, then online people will come and scatter my thing. So, but there are marriages that are good, there are marriages that have survived,
and
and you have to define what you want. And when you understand a lot of things, starting with self-awareness, is all this I'm saying now, is it that was how I was born? No. I learned them over time. I realized who the man I married he is and what he wants, and make it understand what I also want. We'll be 22 years in marriage by June 29 this year. And has it been rosy? No. We have the ups and downs, but I'm making it work. He's making it work. It brings the two of us together. I'm happy because of how we have been able to connect. And we are empty nester. The children are in boarding school and all that. But Is it for everybody? No. Is everybody having it all like that? No. Do we have our bad times? Yes. Do we have our good times? So living apart from your husband? No. It's companionship. As we grow older, we need somebody to also talk to. It's not just want to live alone now. Loneliness. Let me bring it up. As of November last year, 2022, World Health Organization said loneliness is now a global health crisis. Loneliness is equated to youth smoking 15 cigarettes per day.
Whoa.
Yes. So we need to understand there are certain things that we are working on. There are consequences. So don't just decide that you want to be there. Children will come and go. So who is that person that will keep you?
Who are you going to banter with? Yes. So let's go to Jakwa and fall in expectation. What I mean fall in expectation? When you want to Jakwa. Listen, people don't listen and you don't blame them until you go and see. So there's Jakwa now and there's Jakwada. People who have gone
and come back. We welcome them with open hands.
Yeah, so is there must be issues around mental health. Yeah,
so this way back, Scandinavians, Norwegians and all that way back, that as far back in the 50s and 60s and we've replicated them over time, stated that there is a strong link between mental health and migration.
Okay.
Strongly. Culture shock alone is enough. Sorry, the person said, did you hurt me? You didn't hurt me. Non-Nigerians are very used. We will say sorry for our ancestors.
Yes.
And that, for no reason. Instead of excuse me, say sorry. What is it sorry about? And that time you carry it, enter a plane from Murtala Mohammed Airport, 6 hours, you have landed London, bam. And then you start telling people sorry.
Say what is
you sorry about?
Yes.
Are
you okay?
Are you okay? That kind of a thing. So the truth is that there's a strong link between migration and mental illness, starting from culture shock, starting from the weather. Even those of us that carry our children to travel, we don't go during winter, autumn, or spring. Most time it's during summer. Then all of a sudden you are shipping a child to go and school in England, who is going to experience all the 4 weathers. There's seasonal affective
England
disorder.
England is even mild. Imagine in Scandinavia or Australia or
Canada. Yeah. Seasonal affective disorder that comes mainly during winter.
What do you call that? Seasonal affective disorder.
Seasonal affective disorders.
Okay.
SAD. It comes during winter. The weather. If I travel, if you can't catch me outside the country during winter. It has to be something life-threatening. Because I'll be so cold, my bones will be cracking. Then can you imagine a 16, 17-year-old that you shift? And most times school starts September, October, when winter is
setting in.
We give them shake a bands up to
December it peaks.
The truth is, that is it. So weather, culture shock, a lot of, we can't take away racism.
Yeah.
We still can't take away racism. Your color.
Esteem.
Yeah. So, and a child that is not properly prepared, that you have been doing helicopter parenting for, everything, yes. All of a sudden, the child is now automatically an adult.
Yeah, so the last one, and is the most important, is harsh economy and impact of inflation.
All of us are.
We are now, people, you don't even know the socioeconomic. You just talked about band A and band B. Now, Nigeria cannot define socioeconomic class anymore. There's nothing like that.
No, it's banned. We are classless.
Yes.
I think,
So we are all candidates for Ward 4, isn't it? As far as this harsh economic situation.
And that is where.
So from your experience, especially most recently, are you seeing a lot of people moving from just mental health to mental diseases?
Yes.
Because of this harsh economic situation?
That I would categorically say yes. Yes, in all forms. Why? We are talking more about mental health now than before. So awareness is there now. Help-seeking behavior is also a bit more improved. Stigma has a little bit shifted. So now there's a lot of, so we have a service for corporate organization. We call it Employees Assistance Program. Okay. This service helps to create safe spaces for employees within the organization where they can call us 24/7 at any time of the day, Monday to Sunday. And if you want to cry 1 a.m., call us and cry. Okay. And so that in some organizations have started it. So that it helps to reduce.
So do you have that line? Where I could call, and if I want to cry, I just cry. Because that's therapy on its own.
That's therapy on its own. And that has helped a lot of organizations, productivity boosts, peak performance, and all that. So the truth is that being self-aware, the first thing is about what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your triggers, what are your stressors. You must nip on board these 4 things: your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, your stressors. Some people are your stressors, but you're always in their circle. And that is a major disaster waiting to happen. So you have to understand, and that's where you must optimize your strength.
Okay.
Because the moment you start looking at your weakness and start looking at how you do, you are going to fail because that is your weakness. So when you know those things, you are becoming more aware, and that will help you in your emotional intelligence, how to manage yourself. And then when you are filled, your cup runneth over. You are able to give to others. You now know how to manage other people. You can't manage other people when you don't know how to manage yourself.
Yes. And I left this one for the last, so we used 2 minutes to really deal with it. And that is the role and impact of social media.
Before I came upstairs, I was telling you that I'm going on social media detox.
Yes.
Please, we should from time to time schedule social media detox and genuinely follow it. Log off. Embrace resist the fear of missing out and embrace the joy of missing out. Resist the JOMO syndrome and embrace resist the FOMO syndrome and embrace the JOMO syndrome. That fear of missing out is what is going. I don't know if I log out now. Maybe something, one breaking news. Are you the eyewitness reporter? Why do you have to break news? Because everybody is now an eyewitness reporter. But this has happened. Imagine a dead body. You are videoing it and putting it online, traumatizing us without any caption that you should with discretion. You don't do that. You are traumatizing everybody. It's not right. So please genuinely schedule social media time, detox. Go off, whether it's a day or 2 days or 1 week. If you are in WhatsApp groups that are not healthy for you, uninstall it. It's your time, it's your money, it's your data. Especially those reunion WhatsApp group that everybody is trying to say, I bought Ferrari and done this, let us go for. No. And if you're on Twitter, you see where the angry children are, you think that Twitter is your problem. Or don't even go on a platform you think will adversely affect you. Go if it's only LinkedIn professional where everybody is breaking news. I've just been selected. This one, not if I told you, I said, you see that LinkedIn, if you don't have good self-esteem, it will reduce us because everybody is always announcing good things. Because nobody wants to show that bad side. So social media detox for me is very important. Schedule it and genuinely log out. Resist the JOMO syndrome and embrace resist the FOMO syndrome, fear of missing out, and embrace the JOMO syndrome, which is joy of missing out.
That is great. In fact, I've learned 2 things today, and I mean many, but the 2 that we must take away today is that first and foremost, everybody has mental health.
Yes.
But it does not mean that you have mental disease. And then the second one is that when you go to do your medical checkup, please include the state of your mental health as part of the
especially
checklist.
Anxiety, depression, and substance abuse.
Yes. So I have a deluge of messages today that is saying we must bring you back. They say, in fact, you've been voted the best guest on the Discourse 2024.
Well, this is just April.
Yes, and we're just May so far. So please, Dr. Ken, for example, one is organize a physical forum with Dr. May, who will pay to attend. So me and you will have to sit down, we organize this. So we'll do a discourse. Maybe can I promise that?
Promise that.
A physical.
I leave work.
So we'll do a physical version of this.
Yes,
because there's a lot of people who are writing to say we should do this, and then you would be my special guest. Maybe we'll bring a male psychiatrist and female psychiatrist just to balance things easy. So we're rounding up. If I didn't take your messages, we'll take it when we do part 2 because Dr. May has graciously accepted to come for part 2 and we'll do the physical one. We are going to announce it when the time comes. So you remember I told you give us Nigerian proverb?
Is it Nigerian? I have an African proverb. Yes. They say if you want to go fast, go alone.
Right.
And if you want to go far, go with others.
Is that why a team in the EPS says you never walk alone?
No, exactly. Liverpool. I'm a football fan.
Fantastic. And your music for the week?
Sweet Mom. The time is Mothering Sunday, and I'm a mom, so Sweet Mom, Sweet Mother is saying.
Thank you very much, Dr. May. Her full name is Dr. Memona Yusuf Kadri. I'm very sure you've had a good time because I have had. In fact, I didn't know when 1 hour flew away. But out of this, we got a promise that we are going to do a physical live program with Dr. May, live event discourse that we'll do before the summer holidays.
Yes.
Because I know she's already planning her summer. And then the other one is that we are going to bring her back to the studio just to round up and have a part 2. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic week ahead of you. And make sure you do that medical examination. Include mental health. Thank you very much.
This is The Discourse with Dr. Ken.